Okay, while people are still coming, I think we should already start because we don't want to um yeah this to create any problems with the agenda. So welcome everyone. Welcome to our spinal muscular atrophy webinar, Bridging Knowledge, Advocacy, and Personal Journeys. I am Arabella Calinei, President of the European Alliance of Neuromuscular Disorders Associations. Just a couple of words about EAMDA. It is a European umbrella association dedicated to neuromuscular conditions. It was established in 1974 in London, UK. Later, EAMDA has been moved to Valletta, Malta, and since 2008, EAMDA is officially registered in Ljubljana, Slovenia. EAMDA brings together neuromuscular disorders associations across Europe with the aim to advocate for the rights and interests of people living with neuromuscular conditions, to raise awareness, to promote research activities and knowledge sharing, to help reduce the consequences of disability, and to support efforts towards new treatments for neuromuscular diseases. EAMDA covers a wide range of activities, like annual medical and social conferences, webinars, workshops, specific disease activities, disease-specific awareness activities, innovative projects like our NFT art gallery we hosted last year, for example, and other projects run with our member organizations or in partnership with other European umbrella organizations. If you are interested in learning more about our activities and our projects, please don't hesitate to visit our website or follow us on our social media channels. You will easily find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so on. And YouTube. Don't forget about YouTube. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce you our first speaker today, Associate Professor Raluca Ioana Telianu from Carol Davila University of Medicine and Pharmacy, Bucharest, Romania. She is also head of pediatric neurology department at Dr. Victor Gomoiu Children's Hospital in Bucharest, Romania. She has a large experience in epilepsies as well as in neuromuscular diseases, SMA, Duchenne, CMT, and many more. Raluca, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be here with us today. And please feel free to start your presentation, share your screen. I think it will work. And the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I hope we will have pleasant moments together because I always say that the most precious thing that we have in life is our time. So thank you for being with me for the next 20, 30 minutes. Here says that host disabled participant screen sharing, so I cannot share my screen. Can you help me, please?
Yes, please try now. Try again. It should work now.
Yes, now. Can you see the presentation now?
Yes, we
I
can.
hope
We can.
yes.
Yeah, it's okay.
So I thought about a challenging and interesting title, Translating Theory into Practice, because we, most of us know things about spinal muscular atrophy, and frequently our patients know more than we do because they are preoccupied to know new things and to discover new drugs or new management methods. So we've said that translating theory into practice might raise your interest in the presentation. And here are my disclosure. And also, if you want to reach us, this is a QR code for our rare neurological disease center in Dr. Victor Gomoyu Children's Hospital. So today we will talk about the 5Q SMA or 5Q spinal muscular atrophy, which refers to the most common type of spinal muscular atrophy. It is an autosomal recessive neurodegenerative disorder that we know that is caused by mutation in SMN1 gene, which is located on chromosome 5q and encoded. I think that's the most important thing. It's encoded. It encodes survival motor neuron protein, and we also know the fact that 95% of 5q SMA are homozygous deletions. So it's important to know that, and the incidence is 1 in 6,000, 1 in 10,000 live births.
Sorry to interrupt you, Raluca. It seems like we see the whole presentation, but not slide by slide. So we are still stuck at the first slide, and
Oh,
it's not
sorry.
running on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you try again, maybe to?
I'm not sure. I will stop share and try again,
Yes,
maybe.
maybe.
Or
Yes. Please try.
okay.
Now we can see the second slide, but it was not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm doing like this. You can see it, but can you see now the presentation?
Um, just slide by slide, but not on. How is it
Now?
called? You hear me?
Raluca, can you make full screen? From the right bottom side, can you make full screen presentation slides?
Yes,
Presentation
I
mode?
made it, but you cannot see it. I'm just the only one who sees the presentation. I try to figure out where is the problem.
Mm, uh,
Again,
we
I
can
will
see
try to.
a few slides, not the full screen mode.
Mm-hmm. And now?
Yes, now it's
Yes, yes.
Great. So I will go further with my slides and I will go back to the QR code. Um, and we spoke about the definition of 5Q SMA. And here, I love this slide because it says the history of SMA. The first case was reporting in 1891. And as you can see, we spent 104 years for the first period, a period when I can imagine that the doctors were very disappointed by the fact that all they can do was clinical diagnosis and classification. But later on, after the discovery of SMN1 and SMN2 genes, began the era of drug repositioning and drug discovery. And for about 8 years, we have new therapies and also the newborn screening. I will talk about this later. So nowadays we can talk about SMA spectrum types because the former the formal type of SMA was classified into four main groups. We can use this classification nowadays, but these four main groups are described based on the natural history of the disease. Nowadays, we are talking about a spectrum of muscle weakness, and we can see that if we take a look of the SMN copy numbers, The milder form is the form with many copy numbers. So it's well related with genetics, and I will explain later a little bit about this. We have SMA type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4, but and also a type 0, which is very rare. But of course, in our everyday practice, we are struggling. I'm a pediatric neurologist, so we are struggling with these three forms, 1, 2, and 3, because the type 4 is mainly in adults. Sorry. Okay. So the diagnosis. We have the clinical part of the diagnosis, but the most important part, it's the genetic test. It resides in genetic test to detect the SMA-associated mutation on SMN1 gene, and the determination of the copy number. It's very important, and we have many tests that we can perform nowadays. Because, as I said before, we have two genes, the SMN1 gene in unaffected children codes for the all working protein. And when we talk about SMN2, only 10% of the protein is functional. And of course, when we talk about a patient with an SMN1 deletion, the only thing that left is the activity of SMN2. And the SMN2 gene is called the SMA backup gene. And we will see how important is the fact that we have this backup gene. So I find the very nice SMA drug pipeline. Nowadays, we have these three drugs. We have it in Romania also. Nusinersen, risdiplam, and onasemnogen. These are drugs that were approved, and we have in our country national program. When we talk about these three drugs, we have SMN2 targeted therapy, and here I mean, and I have to mention nusinersen and risdiplam, and SMN1 targeted therapy, as I've said before, onasemnogen, abeparvovec. We have a national program that allows the administration of a single drug, and nusinersen was the first drug that was approved in 2016 by the FDA, and in April 2018 was approved in Romania. If we take a look of our diagram, here we have the antisense nucleotide, which allows a more abundant functional protein to have in our patient if we administer the intrathecal nusinersen as is required. We have eligibility criteria in Romania. And of course, we aim to the early initiation of therapy, because that means a different quality of life for our children. For risdiplam, which is also approved in Romania, it was authorized by the FDA in 2020. It's the first oral medication for children as young as 2 months old and adults with SMA. And we have also in our protocol the eligibility criteria, and you can see the number of the SMN2 gene copies. It's very important, and it's mandatory to have 1 to 4 copies to be able to receive this treatment. And the last but not the least is the onasemnogen abeparvovec therapy. It's a gene therapy with the replacement of SMN1 gene with the help of a viral vector. This therapy is intended for patients with symptomatic 5q SMA type 1 SMA under 6 months of age, and for pre-symptomatic 5q SMA patients with 2-3 copies of SMN2. We can and we know that administration is intravenously a single dose. And also we have a criteria for eligibility. Because SMA is a systematic disease, of course, we need a multidisciplinary management of respiratory, nutritional, gastroenterological, orthopedic, and psychosocial problems. And it's required because otherwise we cannot offer to our patient a different and a good quality of life. Of course, we all know about the international recommendation, and based on this international recommendation, we have in our hospital protocol which is tailored to what we can offer in our hospital with our multidisciplinary team. We have experience with nusinersen. The first administration in our hospital was in January 2019. And we've started and we continue to administer it if it's necessary now under general anesthesia. And sometimes we need the injection under CT guidance because in children with important scoliosis, sometimes it's very challenging to do the intrathecal nusinersen. Of course, we are following the international protocols and we are using functional scales to evaluate the efficacy of the therapy, but also before we find a naive patient, we have to make the T0 evaluation of this patient. And going to some practical aspects, we have here Wana. Wana was our first patient. She has a type 2, SMA type 2 with two SMN2 copies, and she received nusinersen at the age of 14. And we can see here that after 2 doses, she improved the swallowing and breathing. And in this movie, you can see her after 4 doses of nusinersen, with starting with Wana being in bed. And she was able and she was very happy to share with us the fact that she can go now in the house and use the wheelchair again. So this is our first time when we used nusinersen, and as I told you, we went to the OR because we had to figure out what is about. Later on, we had, as I mentioned, a situation when because of the scoliosis we couldn't administer the nusinersen without a CT guided orientation. And here is our radiologist, and she helps us to be able to give the medication even though the scoliosis was severe. So we've decided to organize a multidisciplinary team, and as you can see here, we have recently a new member, and I will tell you later why did we add the cardiologist to our multidisciplinary team. And of course, an important member is the genetician who is doing the assessment, who helps us with the genetic testing, with the genetic counseling. It's important for the patient and for the family. And here we can see we have 2 girls. Maria, she's 17 years old with SMA type 3 with 3 SMN2 copies, and Theodora, her sister. She has the same disorder, but as we can see, Maria started nusinersen at the age of 14, and after 19 doses of nusinersen, she has a steady gait, no more tripping, no more falling. She's able to walk, which is great. And her sister, Theodora, even though she started at the treatment at the age of 4, after 15 doses of nusinersen, she is only able to step with support. So again, nowadays we are talking about the patient and not the therapy, and everyone is different. We were thinking to test her again to see if she has that number of that number of SMN2 copies. But of course, it's a work in progress, and we will see if she will be able to walk. Going further in our diagram, we are here at the physical therapy and rehabilitation. Of course, it's very important and is essential in managing muscle weakness, contractures, and maintaining range of motion. We have to mention that the kinetotherapist incorporates exercises and stretching routines designed to enhance flexibility and overall functionality. It's very important to talk with our patient and tell them that beside the treatment, we need the physical therapy and other therapies that are required, like hydrotherapy. Here is one of our patients who is in the pool with his father. Another case, here is Matthias. He has SMA type 1 with 3 SMN2 copies. He started nusinersen when he was 1 year old. And we can see that he can reach a seated position after 5 doses of nusinersen. And later on, he is able to be on a tricycle after 12 doses of nusinersen. The pedaling is there. So, of course, beside nusinersen, we have daily physical therapy, non-invasive ventilation, cough assist, nutritional supplements, psychotherapy, and so on. But we just want to see how the child evolved from the neurological point of view after how many doses. He is able to stand with support after 17 doses of nusinersen. And you can see here, and that is, he can reach the standing position with support. Another important management is the orthopedic management. We all know that because of the weakness of the muscle, our patient have deformity of the spine, thoracic deformity, hip instability, joint contractures. In our hospital, we have very useful machine. It's called EOS biplane X-ray imaging system. It uses slot scanning technology to produce a high quality image with less radiation than standard imaging techniques. And we know that we need in spinal and muscular atrophy many radiological evaluations. So it has even a radiolucent chair for non-ambulant patients. It can evaluate the whole body and the full spine, and it's very useful for us and mostly for our colleagues from the orthopedic department. We have in our center a National Center of Expertise in Scoliosis. We can see here that the patient is in the OR in preparation to do the surgical intervention for scoliosis, which is a very hard intervention. Sometimes our colleagues are spending over 10 hours in the OR. But as you can see, with good results, here we have a child with SMA type 2 pre and post-op X-ray, and we can see how the spine looks after the surgery. And another case with an important scoliosis, and after the surgery, we can see the improvement of the spine. And if we talk about nutritional, gastrointestinal, and swallowing disorder management, it's very important also. We have our colleagues from gastroenterology and from the surgery department helping us with diet, probiotics. These patients have also risk of osteopenia and fractures, and they need supplements. And of course, sometimes there is a need for proactive intervention. Sometimes we need to use the gastrostomy feeding, and we can do it in our hospital by an endoscopic way. That means a shorter duration of surgery, reduced anesthetic risk, and faster postoperative recovery. And here you can see um, our patient Stefan, who had a gastrostomy, and of course, the nutritional state was improved after gastrostomy. The respiratory management is very important. We are in collaboration with our colleague from the pediatric department. We evaluate our patients at each visit, and the evaluation comprise of pulse oximetry, respiratory function parameters, very important, the polysomnography and capnography. And of course, we discuss with our patient, and they discuss with our patient about non-invasive positive pressure ventilation and cough assist, and also the manual chest physiotherapy. And of course, we have to evaluate every 4-8 months, depending on the degree of lung damage, the respiratory function parameters, because that means a different quality of life. We can perform polysomnography. We have a somnology department in the hospital, but also in our pediatric neurology department, we are able to do it, but in a little bit different manner, because we are neurologists and we are focused on the EEG, but we can do it also. It's done annually in our hospital, or as needed. Sometimes we have to need it to do it earlier. And of course, we have to, and they discuss with the parents and the patient about non-invasive ventilation. You can see here an infant. She's a nice girl, and the mother is using the non-invasive ventilation. And we have to see that she is doing the right thing with the child, because at home there is nobody there to teach her. We also use the cough assist, and of course, we have to mention sometimes in our medical letters the, let's say, interdiction to use CPAP and high flow oxygen, or at least to just tell them that it's not okay to use it in a neuromuscular patient, as we all know. I told you before that recently we've added the cardiologist in our team. Why? Because we see many recent papers that are talking about the cardiac structural abnormalities, mainly septal defects and abnormalities of the cardiac outflow tract, predominantly in type 0 and 1. And when we talk about type 2 and 3, we can see children with cardiac rhythm disorders. So that's why it's important to have the cardiologist with us. And also, we all know that we have cardiomyopathy secondary to respiratory damage. So we have here some nice papers that mention that we can have cardiologic involvement in spinal muscular atrophy. Because of that, we evaluate the children in our hospital with CKMB, AKG, and Holter AKG, and also cardiac ultrasound at the diagnosis yearly or as needed. And of course, a very important issue is related with our meeting with a psychologist. The psychological evaluation and support is important. And of course, our psychologist is trained, and she knows many things about the disorder and the problems that our patients are facing. Of course, it's important to have the social worker, but also the community. And I saw here the representative from Asociația or SMA Care Association and the SMA family And together we fight SMA, and we are happy that we can cooperate with them. So coming back to the treatment, from our experience, we observed that prior to nusinersen administration, with 2-3 weeks, we have a decrease in muscle strength, and also we observed that in convalescent patient with acute bronchopneumonia following nusinersen injection, a notable improvement in respiratory function and resolution of respiratory distress syndrome was observed within 24 hours. And that means that maybe we need higher doses or a different way of administer the treatment. And fortunately, we have the results of DEVOTE study. The DEVOTE study explored the higher dose of nusinersen in spinal muscular atrophy, of course, 5q spinal muscular atrophy. And the conclusion was that the 50-28 milligram regimen was well tolerated with a safety profile broadly consistent with the 12 milligram regimen. So we will see in the future how things will go. Of course, if we have a national protocol, for the moment we will stick to the protocol, but later on maybe we will change the dosage. So we can say that nusinersen is a revolutionary therapy. We now are rewriting medicine because the national course of the disease is modified, because the life expectancy is increased, the quality of life of the child is significantly improved. But next, we've recently decided to introduce a biomarker in evaluation of our children, and I will keep you posted about our results, because we wanted to see not only the clinical part, but also with to demonstrate the efficacy of the drugs with a biomarker. And it looks like CMAP scan might be a good biomarker. Of course, we have future plans regarding the neonatal screening. If it's important to have the neonatal screening, because we have here something that say that we have a therapeutic window to initiate the most effective intervention and treatment before substantial motor neuron loss occurs. So we want to have the opportunity to treat patients in the pre-symptomatic phase, and without neonatal screening, we are not able to do that. And we say that maybe our chance is the fact that there is a plan, there is a project to have a neonatal screening in the whole Europe at the same level, and maybe that means for us an opportunity to develop our neonatal screening. And because we see phenotypes that never before reached adulthood, and I'm saying here types 1 and types 2, that means a challenge for the medical world and for the doctors also. We have to think about transition. We've already started, let's say that we are still shy at this moment with the transition, but it's in our mind. We have to think about implementation of an equivalent multidisciplinary team within adult neurology centers. And of course, it's challenging. And if you take a look here, we have the core elements of a good transition, an ideal transition, and the policy and the guide and the discussion are starting between 12 and 14 years, when the child is between 12 and 14 years old. And we can see that and say that transition is completed between the age of 18 till 23 years old. So it's a challenging subject, but we hope that in the end we will manage to do this. So I will conclude and say that SMA is a treatable rare genetic disease. Of course, we know that. Recognition of clinical signs lead to early diagnosis. The genetic test is very important, but also it's very important to initiate the treatment as early as possible. So that means that we need neonatal screening for SMA. As you can see, we've mentioned the cases of those two sisters. The progress is different from patient to patient, and there is still a lot to learn about SMA. And of course, observing evolving SMA phenotypes in treated patients enhances understanding of disease progression and treatment impact. And last but not the least, we have and we need multidisciplinary care and the family to be together. And we think that these are the key to success. So thank you again for having me today. This is my team. I cannot be here without my team and my residents who every day are treating and taking care of our patient. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raluca, for such comprehensive and complex presentation. I mean, it's really amazing what you managed to do at Gomoyu Hospital for patients with SMA and other neuromuscular conditions. Very quickly, I will try to read here a couple of questions we received in the chat. I see here one question saying some type 1 patients can walk and also climb stairs. Can we apply Hammersmith assessment to them? I don't know if you're familiar with this assessment method, or can you reply?
Of course. We can apply it. It depends on the age. If we can talk with him and he can follow some instructions, of course, we have to see the child and to be able to say. As you saw it in my presentation, we have also a boy who is able to stand and he for sure will walk. So later on, we can apply the Hammersmith scale for them.
Okay. Then we have another question from Liviu Abrudan saying Risiplam in Romania is still just for patients 2 months older, I guess 2 months
Yes, I can
older.
understand the
The
question.
protocol was changed. Yeah, he's asking if the protocol was changed.
I'm no longer in the Ministry of Health Committee, so I cannot tell you if the, as far as I know, I'm the head of a pediatric neurology department in our hospital. I don't know, and I wasn't informed if there is any change in the protocol.
Okay, then we have another question from Gabriela Radu saying, how can a polysomnography be done at Gomoyu Hospital? We at Asociația Familia SMA have many families asking for our help. Yeah, to pay them.
Of course, and she asked again that would it be possible for them to have a polysomnography? Of course, because having a multidisciplinary team offers the opportunity to treat patients from all Romania. It's not related with the fact that we are at this hospital. Our colleagues are trained, and for example, we have children who came from other centers, neurology centers, and they are operated in the orthopedic department. And of course, they can have the polysomnography in our hospital without coming to the neurology department. Of course, they can be scheduled there.
Okay. And then we also have IPEG asking, do you recommend other supplements than calcium, I guess, and vitamin D? For example, L-carnitine or something else?
Yes, why not?
Patients?
Yes, of course. Because when we talk about a muscle, the muscle has an atrophy. We hope that with carnitine we can preserve a little bit more the muscle. So we are open to use the these so-called supplements related with the muscle and the nerves, because as I already said, we do not know for sure everything that happens in this disorder. We just know that nusinersen and risdiplam are working and onas and nogen are working, but we have to underline the fact that without kinetotherapy and nutritional therapy and so many other things that we have to do for our patient, the quality of life would be different. Only with medication, they are not the same.
Yeah. And then we have a question from Sharifa, who's asking about something you actually mentioned in your presentation regarding dietary guidelines. So yes, how do we manage metabolism? Do you have any other advices for?
If we have she said that the child is spending a lot of time in the wheelchair now
Yes,
with
indeed.
minimal
Yes,
movement.
yes.
Okay, so when we have a child who is in this situation, and some of our children are like this, we are organizing a team which comprise of gastroenterologists and endocrinologists also, because of course we don't have enough time to talk about osteoporosis and so on, but maybe in another meeting, we will invite some of our colleagues to talk about the multidisciplinary team for their point of view. And I'm not sure that there are dietary guidelines, but for sure there are researches for best nutrition. And we also are preoccupied to offer them the best nutrition.
Okay, then we have another question. Is it accurate to classify children who receive pre-symptomatic treatment and never showed symptoms as type 1, even if they have two SMN2 copies? I don't know,
That
classify children. Gabriela Radu was asking.
received pre-symptomatic and never showed symptoms as type 1. That's why I've told you something about the SMA spectrum, because I think in some years we will not talk about type 1, type 2, type 3. Maybe we will talk about the number of the copies and the clinical picture and the spectrum of the weakness. So I'm not sure that it is accurate to say that if they receive the pre-symptomatic treatment and never show symptoms, it's hard to say that they have type 1. But also, if you think back to Matthias was diagnosed with type 1, and now when she's 6 years old, he can walk. So it's not quite accurate to say that a type 1 patient can walk. But because we are seeing different phenotypes, in some years, maybe we will reclassify it considering the treatment and not the natural history of the disease.
Okay, thank you so much for answering these questions, Raluca. Okay, are there any other questions for Raluca? No, I don't. Yeah.
Sorry, there is here something that says Camille is asking me if I can give you the presentation. Of course, I will send you my presentation, but I have just to remove the photos from the presentation, and you can have it for sure. Thank you for having me and for inviting me here today with you.
Thank you so much for being with us and for all this interesting information. And again, congratulations for the amazing work you are doing there at Gomul Hospital.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to our next speaker, I would like to introduce Simona Joveska, who is here with us. She has a master's degree in management in biotechnics. Simona actively works in the field of improving the socio-economic position of people from vulnerable groups. primarily by providing free training to increase their skills and knowledge. Simona is currently the president of Stop SMA Associations of North Macedonia. She is also a founder and manager of Lotus J Education Center, where she worked as a teacher. She's our next speaker today, not only in her patient's role, but also as a representative of SMA Europe. Simona, welcome. We are so happy to have you. Please feel free to share your presentation if you have one. If not, just the floor is yours. Welcome, Simona.
Yes, thank you. Hello from me as well. And first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for inviting me to be part of this webinar, where I would discuss about the advocacy and support at the European level from SMA Europe's perspective. As you mentioned, I am a member of the board of SMA Europe since recently, but even more recently, I took over the presidency of Stop SMA Macedonia as national organization. And one more thing I have to add, that besides my master degree in biotechnology, now I'm pursuing a master degree in law. I'm starting to share my presentation. Please tell me, is it visible to everyone?
Yes, it is. Maybe you can just put it in
Yes.
slideshow mode. Yeah.
I'll need just 1 second. Okay, I'm not sure how. Yes, perfect.
Work. Yeah.
Thank you for waiting for me. Well, I promised that I would keep my presentation short, although this is something that we can discuss for hours. But in the interest of time, my presentation is going to be in 3 perspectives. First of all, I would give an overview at SMA Europe. Then I would discuss about our activities that we had in 2023. And at the very end, I would like to talk about the awareness campaign 2024 as the most recent activity. First of all, who we are. SMA Europe is a non-profit umbrella organization for spinal muscular atrophy, SMA patient organization from across Europe. We work to bring effective treatments and optimal care to everyone living with SMA, as we believe that together, through a greater understanding, we will create a better world for all those living with SMA. Our work as SMA Europe is directed in 3 main paths: research, where we are setting priorities, promoting, funding, and generating patient-relevant research; advocacy, where we are using evidence-based advocacy to represent the voice of patients and decision that affect them; and awareness, where we campaign to raise awareness of SMA and promote the interest of our community. We always put the voice of those living with SMA at the heart of everything we do. We work by elevating the patient voice through empowering our member organization to advocate and campaign for them at national level, and to influence healthcare, pharmaceutical, and regulatory decision makers to involve them at European level. Only through a representation of the SMA community, the unique wants, experiences, and aspiration of the people behind the condition, their voices will be heard and their needs are going to be met. Our delegates, our board, volunteers, and staff are committed to our purpose and to make progress every day. We consist of 29 patient organizations from 27 countries with one common goal. Together, we represent a diverse mix of nationalities, experiences, and backgrounds, and have a unique understanding of the impact of SMA. And we are determined to make a positive difference to the lives of those who live with SMA. Our activities in 2023 were, we had a number of activities that are organized under 5 strategic pillars that are rooted in our mission. Research, therapy and care, healthcare system policy and access, capacity building, and communication and outreach. In the interest of time, I wouldn't get into specific about all the activities taken under these pillars, because for the rest of them, you can address our annual report 2023. But I would like to make some short explanation about most of them, some of them. Under the pillar research, we had been working to promote patient-relevant SMA research, and we accomplished this through SMA Research Agenda, SP Priority Setting Partnership, and Fourth Scientific International Congress on SMAs, which I would get back into later and discuss a little bit more in details. Also in here, in this pillar, we had our call for research proposals, which is an initiative set up to promote and sustain fundamental and clinical research in SMA in Europe, including the 11th round. The call for research proposals has funded a total of 48 projects and other initiatives. Our call for research proposals fills a crucial gap in the field, ensuring that the needs of the community in treatment, development, and care are addressed and met. Also in here we have SMA Horizon, which aims at identifying new, innovative, out-of-the-box therapies for people living with SMA, especially for chronic population. And by actively scanning diverse research fields, including regenerative medicine, precision medicine, and cutting-edge technologies like AI, robotics, and nanotechnologies. Smart Horizon aims to identify groundbreaking approaches which can be then tailored specifically to SMA. What makes this project relevant to our community is its focus on identifying new avenues of therapy that complement existing treatments. And at the end of this pillar, we have SMA Europe Meets Early Career Researchers, ECRs, which is an international event gathered towards fostering the relationship and understanding between the ECRs and SMA patient advocates. This initiative allows ECRs to engage with the broader SMA community and to bridge the gap between the laboratory work and the lived experience of the condition that they are working on. It also allows patient advocates to understand the current research landscape and research process. Under the pillar of therapy and care, we had been working to accelerate progress in the diagnosis, treatment, and care for people living with SMA. And we accomplished this through clinical trial site readiness in Europe, which is initiative initiated in 2018 within the Cure SMA industry collaboration. In 2023, we worked towards understanding if there had been a change in European clinical trial site capacity to run trials, now that the disease-modifying treatments are available. It also sought to equip trial sites with resources to support their ability to run or expand trials in a patient-relevant way. Also, we have here EUPISMA 2023, that is European Patient Experience Survey, which gathers experiences and expectations from people living with SMA to help us build a landscape of the evolving needs of the community. The results of this service inform our organization advocacy efforts and help us advise the stakeholders on the necessary changes to best serve and improve the lives of people living with SMA. The surveys are designed together with our community, and our EUPISMA 2023 survey focused on SMA and clinical trials. And at the end of this pillar, we have SMA daily life study. In here, factors like fatigue, pain, and mental health affect the daily well-being of people living with SMA and may be valuable outcomes measures when assessing treatment. These patient-relevant outcomes are gaining increasing attention in the field of SMA, including as endpoints in clinical trials. Designed in close collaboration with people living with SMA, the daily SMA life study access patient-relevant outcomes with an initiative method that allows to track how these measures change in the day-to-day of individual patients. Results from this study are strong of the patient-relevant approach and allow us to obtain unique insights that can guide the development of more accurate and valid assessment tools for patient-relevant outcomes. Under the pillar healthcare system, policy, and access, we had been working to improve access to diagnosis, optimal treatment, and care for all people living with SMA in Europe. And in here, we accomplish this through DISMA, which also is going to be worked a little bit more in details later on in this presentation. And adult care benchmarking report. Actually, the objective of the benchmarking care for adults living with SMA in Europe adult has the objective to provide the SMA community with an evidence-based resources that can be used to engage relevant stakeholders, increase awareness of the care challenges faced by adults living with SMA, and to call for policy change. The outcomes of the project are the development of one general benchmarking report and 22 country short reports. Adults make up an estimated 50% of the SMA population, and with the increasing availability of innovative treatments that improve the quality of life and survival rates, these numbers are set to grow. And through the evidence collected in this project, SMA Europe aims to raise awareness and eventually to improve the situation of adults living with SMA. The last one of the activities in this pillar is SMA Newborn Screening Alliance, which is established by SMA Europe to bring together all the stakeholders who share the vision and are willing to work together towards making SMA newborn screening in all European countries a reality. When SMA and BSA started to work, no newborns were scanned for SMA in Europe, and since the beginning, many countries have added SMA to their national neonatal screening programs, and some others have an active pilot program in some cases for the whole country, and in other cases, at least for certain regions. Under the pillar of capacity building, we had been working to strengthen the organization efficiency, sustainability, and capacity to take collective actions and advocate on both national and international level. And we accomplished this through annual meetings with General Assembly, which offer our member organization the opportunity to come together to discuss all matters relevant of SMA Europe and network with one each other. We have also our SMA Europe, which is a project that aims at developing a stronger, independent, sustainable, and impactful community of SMA organizations in Europe. Its focus is to ensure that SMA Europe understand the needs and expectations of the member organizations. It also helps to create a sustainable ecosystem where different expectations are met through the active participation of our members, always under the inclusion and diversity criteria. We have SMA Academy, Academy, which we are going to discuss later in details, and a global SMA advocacy event, which took place one day before the 4th Scientific International Congress on SMA in Ghent this year, and aimed to bring together patient advocates from across the globe. Under the pillar of communication and outreach, we had been working to ensure the communication initiatives and actions to serve as the SMA Europe's voice for SMA patients and rely on evidence-based advocacy. We have accomplished this through our awareness campaign 2023 and awareness campaign 2024. Awareness campaign 2023 was the first awareness campaign fully created by the organization since its creation in 2007. And it was under the hashtag We Are Unique and focus of the stories of people who lived with SMA across Europe. The campaign shows how diverse our community is while we keep fighting for the same goals and face similar challenges when it comes to access, treatment, diagnosis, and care standard across Europe. We Are Unique campaign scope was to tell the real-life stories of people living with SMA and to showcase what people in the community feels that defines them the most. It also unified all their testimonials under one common umbrella. As I mentioned, we are going to get in a little bit more details in some of the activities that we had. For example, the 4th Scientific International Congress of SMA. As SMA Europe is committed to promote patient-relevant SMA research through its project, funding initiatives and collaborations, organized the 4th Scientific International Congress to bring, with the goal to bring together an international and transdisciplinary group of scientists, healthcare professionals, and patient advocates. The event provided a platform for them to present and exchange their breakthrough ideas relating to SMA, especially also considering the patient relevance on their findings and to cement existing and stimulate new collaboration. The Congress took place in March in 2024 in Ghent and attracted more than approximately 1,000 scientists, healthcare professionals, and patient advocates from 81 countries around the world. And the tickets were sold out before the event. And following the successful competition of our 4th Scientific Congress, we are already working on the next one, which will take place in spring 2026 in Budapest, Hungary. This scientific congress future was highly respected, internationally renowned speakers, and equally important, it was a platform for talented young researchers. Together with healthcare professionals and patient advocates, they discussed, debate, and dissect significant new developments and achievements relating to SMA. SMA Research Agenda, PSP, has the goal to identify the top 10 unanswered research questions about SMA that are priority to people who live with SMA, their caregivers, and the healthcare professionals. The results allow SMA Europe to drive towards an SMA research agenda that will, with all the relevant stakeholders, and to push scientists, service providers, funders to recognize and prioritize the needs of those living with SMA. The top 10 SMA priorities for SMA research from the perspective of people who live with SMA were agreed in the predefined through process with 2 large-scale surveys that were translated into several European languages and culminated in a multi-stakeholder face-to-face workshop in Amsterdam. A workshop towards an SMA research agenda was held also during the Fourth Scientific Congress on SMA. Odisma as an activity with as initiative. Odisma actually means a quest to access. And with this initiative, SMA Europe's goals are to identify hurdles to access to healthcare and initiate advocacy, as well as policy shaping initiatives to overcome those. Odisma aims to reveal the quest to access of people living with SMA by mapping, visualizing, and centralizing knowledge around access issues, and by driving advocacy around them. The aim behind the collected and visualized data tool and centralized knowledge is to support the patient advocates to identify, understand, and overcome variation in access to medicine and care in Europe. It is paramount for successful advocacy for access to medicines and care. And next we had SMAcademy, which is a new initiative that aims to build capacity among patient advocates in SMA by offering target training and learning resources. SMAcademy programs are designed in close collaboration with the community to ensure evolving needs are met. SMAcademy provides patient advocates with tools to amplify their efficacy and impact when advocating for better life for people living with SMA. And patient advocates needs knowledge across areas of expertise from understanding SMA to medicine development, regulatory process, policy, and access. They also need best skill set to bring together people together, to lobby with the key stakeholders, and to increase the impact of their organization. At the same time, patient advocates also have a wealth of hands-on and first-hand experience advocating and living with SMA that makes them invaluable experts in the field. And through a variety of learning opportunities, SMAcademy provides a global platform for patients that advocates to learn together, teach, and teach each other. This being said, our next webinar is on November 19, which has interesting topic, and you are welcome to join us. And now we are switching to Awareness Campaign 2024. The slogan for 2024 Awareness Campaign was one community, shared dreams. And the goal of this campaign is to unite our community under one common hashtag, We Are One, while enhancing the fact that even if our community is so diverse, we keep having one common dream to create a better world for all those living with SMA. The launch of the campaign was on the beginning of August this year as the month of SMA awareness, and it ended in 31st of August with the launch of the main documentary piece, which you can find on YouTube. But in the meantime, I would like to share some videos, some of our trailers. Just please tell me, is the screen visible?
My name is.
Can you see can you see the videos?
Yes.
Two children.
So sorry, no, we cannot see the video. It's still the presentation.
My name is.
Okay, just let me switch.
Yeah.
Okay. I am not sure that I can. I am not sure that I can.
Maybe you either share the screen directly or you share the videos. I think you should have some buttons at the right when you hit share for sound and something like this.
Yes. No. It doesn't allow me to share YouTube video in here.
Even if you hit share and the screen, not the presentation, the whole screen?
Entire screen. Okay,
Yeah.
let me try.
Yeah, now we see the
Yes,
YouTube.
Thomas Doctor.
Yes. It's just
My name is Thomas Doctor,
Gosh,
and I'm the
it's
treatment
quite
committee chair
important.
for SMA Europe. I'm married, I have 2 children, and I also have SMA myself. The gene was identified when I was 14. In 1995, I was tested for the gene in 1997. Mutations in our DNA are individual molecules, individual atoms that determine how you can live your life. I find that really fascinating that we have this condition, but it's linked to specific individual atoms at the conception of me. My dream is that we will have enough resources to invest into out-of-the-box ideas, that we can help these ideas not stay stuck in laboratories, but with a shared commitment from all stakeholders, realize them in a timely and effective manner.
Delegate at SMA Europe. I represent Fundame, which is the national SMA patient organization in Spain. I am also a mother to Mencia and Alvaro. Mencia is 15 and Alvaro is 13. When they were diagnosed, there was no treatment available at all. My dream is that the SMA community has the capacity, the power and the resources to bring together researchers, practitioners, and us, so that we together get to the most groundbreaking research for SMA.
I'm Kasia Pedrycz. I'm Vice President of Fundacja SMA, which is a Polish organization. I'm wife and mother of 2 boys, Boguś, the older one, who is 10-year-old, and Benio, 8-year-old. He's good condition. He's riding his wheelchair and living his life. He's got some symptoms still of SMA, and it's visible. But for us, we got a lot. And we are happy for him to have this treatment, to have this possibility to start early, and to have another possibility of trying something new for his muscles. And we are hoping for something maybe new in the future, because he's 8-year-old and the whole life is waiting for him and for us. My dream is that people living with SMA live their best quality of life.
Just this one, I promised.
Take 1.
My dream is.
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 My dream is. My dream is.
To be able to eat on my own, to prepare my food, to push my own wheelchair.
My dream is for my daughter to have a life full of happiness, mobility, and health.
To finally hear my daughter call me mom. My dream is for SMA to stand for so much achieved rather than what it does stand for currently. And my dream is that wherever I visit in the world next, they have that same access and care and protection.
One community, shared dreams.
Well, I would stop sharing my screen now. I hope that you enjoyed these short videos, which were only an introduction to our campaign, awareness campaign 2024. You can always look for the whole campaign on our website and on our YouTube and social media channels, where we have a whole documentary, which is somewhere about 2 hours. It was a little bit too long for this webinar, although I would love to show you. But you can always address to the documentary, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Simona. Even the videos were amazing, and I think we have with us one of the participants there in the videos, Timea Tot. So yeah, SMA community is an amazing community, and you've already demonstrated such a strong impact at European and worldwide level. So it is amazing what we can do together when we unite our forces. Just before jumping into questions, I would like, because this was a special request from our communication manager, if everyone should open your cameras, please open your cameras for a quick photo. Yeah, it would be nice to have all of you in the picture. Hi, Camille. Finally see you there.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, so we have a lot of friends with us. And hopefully, if you can hear me, please open your camera so we can take a very quick photo. Still waiting for a few people to maybe open their cameras. Whoever has a camera. So sorry for those who are not, at least your names will be visible on the picture.
So I will try to make a few now.
Is it okay now?
Yes, can I take one more? Just to have, yes. Now I'm taking one more if everyone is ready. One more, please. Done. Thank you.
Great people, lovely faces. Great. Jumping right back into questions. Are there any questions from the audience for Simona? I'm also checking the chat, but I don't see here any questions. Is someone okay? You can raise your hand or just open your microphone and ask questions if you have. Meanwhile, I do have a question myself. Simona, besides SMA Academy, SMA Academy, like you were mentioning, is there a different way for patients and families to get involved into SMA's SMA Europe's advocacy or research initiatives to support, to help support the community? I know volunteer-based or some other ways for patients and families, for anyone who wants to get involved more in SMA Europe's activities?
Well, we have, I'm proud to say that we have a lot of volunteers from all national organizations and from all countries, which means, yes, there is a way where everyone who is willing and who has the vision, the capacity, and the love for to bring something new to our community to join us. No matter if there is a person with SMA, a family member, caregiver, or just a supporter.
This is amazing because, we know from EAMDA experience, we kind of lack volunteers sometimes. I mean, it is so important to have the community helping because everything we do is for us patients, for the community itself. Seda, you have a question?
No, I don't have a question, but I have one thing to say. You can always join to our volunteer groups. We have both youth group and communications working group. So youth group is for 16 to 25 years old SMA patients and SMA related family members. And for our communication working group is older than our youth group. So if you want to join in our groups, then you can either email me or Emilia. I will send you the emails. Thank you.
Okay, amazing. Yes, and even if we think at the newborn screening initiative across Europe, I know SMA Europe is like a pioneer in this field because you really showed regarding newborn screening the fact that a strong community can push for access in all countries. So congratulations for all your work, Simona, and the work of SMA Europe.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are trying to do the best, to be the best for us and our community.
Okay. Amazing. So, in the interest of time, I would like to move to our first speaker of this webinar. I would like to introduce you Dana from Romania. She's SMA type 2 patient from Oradea, Romania. She's 28 years old and works part-time as a marketing specialist at Hoymeyer Logistics Solutions, while also being a freelance copywriter and trainer. She wants to empower people with disabilities and show Romanian society the importance of diversity and inclusion. Dana, welcome. It is a pleasure having you today with us. And please feel free to share your screen and jump into the presentation.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank you, Arabella, for having me and to tell you that it's a great honor for me to follow such great ladies. It's my first time doing a presentation like this, so please be kind with me. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about me today. This is my story. I'm Dana Miruz, as Arabella said, from Moldavia, Romania. And here is my beginning. After the vaccine, when I was 6 months old, my mom saw that I wasn't doing so well as until then because I couldn't keep my head up after that, and I didn't really respond. She said that after the vaccine, she could let me near the edge of the bed and I wouldn't move from there. She said that it was safe for her to go to the bathroom and back because I wouldn't move. And after that, at 9 months old, um, a neurologist from my town saw me and said that it's vending of money. This is after my condition. That was all. No genetic test, not anything. Only from what she saw in me. This was almost it for me, considering my condition, because after that, only 1 year later, my mom found out about some specialist with a device he put on my fingers and at hands and legs, and there could be seen something about me, but not the disease. And that specialist told my mom that I will grow up, I will be very smart, but I will never be able to walk. And that was true until now, at least. There was no treatment at that time, and my family had the chance to let me go to a kindergarten and school for children with disabilities. I was there until my fourth grade. There, I got the chance to meet people who knew something about this kind of diseases because we had sponsors from Sweden mostly, and they helped me get a corset and orthosis. Here I was 3 years old, as you can see. I was pretty active. I could use my hands perfectly, and everything was fine. Here I ate alone. This was my teacher, and I was around 4 or something like that. And here I think I was 5. You can see my condition, my scoliosis was pretty visible, mostly in the back, but in front too. And this was it. Then after that, actually, yeah, about my children. Here you can see I had a pretty normal life. This was my best friend, who was my neighbor. It's a really special picture for me. And here I was in school. This was the moment when Santa Claus in my first grade, because already the strength in my hand wasn't that great, and I needed support to go with the wheelchair. He made me a surprise. This picture is from the local newspaper at that time in 2003, and I received a power wheelchair, an electrical one, who helped me go and come easily. Here you can see it. I was with this wheelchair, and this was my best attempt making art. The school there used what we did to sell it for to sustain the activities of the school. My mom, I didn't know at that time, but I found out later, wanted to give me classes of art because she wanted to help me maintain my abilities, my working abilities with the hands. But it wasn't really the case because I wasn't that interested. And to be honest, in Romania, we didn't have much help with physical therapy, and I couldn't do it. My parents didn't afford to do that for me. And I remember that I was in the sixth grade when I decided to stop it. I There was some free physical therapy, but I had to go like an hour with my mom to there and back, and I couldn't keep studying and be the best, and also to do that. So I decided to go to school because from the fifth grade, as I said, I entered the mainstream education, and It was a big difference for me to go from a special school to a mainstream one. I had to study more to be up to the class because, as you all know, it's not pretty easy to have a disability. So it wasn't uh, pretty normal until now. And I wanted to be the best to show everyone else that it doesn't mean that if I'm in a wheelchair, I am not smart. And I wanted to prove myself. And in the end, to be financial, to have financial freedom, to to be able to provide for myself, to help my parents. That was my dream at the time. So here you can see me in sixth or seventh grade with my wheelchair in the park. Here I was in high school. Yeah, I was facing some discrimination even in high school mostly because it's hard to for teachers to understand that different doesn't mean wrong. And when you have a rigid system like it is in Romania, it is hard to adapt for them. It was hard to understand that at the time, here I was already in my in high school, so it was hard for them to understand that I couldn't really write anymore. I could, but very slow, and I couldn't keep up with my colleagues in classes. I did it only when I had a test, a very important test, and sometimes I needed more time, or I needed to do the. Some teachers said that to do the most important exercises first because I needed more time. So yeah, to adapt it, and some people teachers didn't understand it, and they weren't really friendly with me. And so I had to face that and to get over it. Here I was in the university already when I was the first in Oradea at least who went. I was with my mom in an Erasmus experience. For me, it was something else to be in another country for one semester in Spain to see how accessible everything was there, how friendly people were. I could see people on the street with disabilities, and for me, it was fascinating. I remember that when we came home, because my mom is my personal assistant, my caregiver, and she's pretty almost with me. I remember that she cried because she said that she has to give up the normality for me to come back home. Where was my dad waiting for us? So during the university, I also did some volunteering. Here is what with the Students Association, in which I was the president for a year. And here is when I graduated the master program. I did a master in business administration in English, and yeah, I started to work after that because, as I said, it didn't stop me. It is interesting to tell you that yeah, I don't really use much my hands, but I'm a copywriter. I live by writing. I do it on my phone because now it's pretty easy with smartphones and everything. I write it there, and after that I move or I write on Drive, and I use it on the computer for my clients or for everything that I work on. So yes, I get to be an adult. It was hard for me to find a job. From what I know, it still is, at least in Romania, because when you have a disability, they are not really open. The companies are not friendly with you. So here, I do still have friends. Here I have part of them. Um, Here I'm at the office because I work and I try to be very, how to say that, professional. Maybe you can see my corset. It's visible from here. And here is how I use my computer. You can see here I have a keyboard on screen, and I use this to write. I very technically I click on every letter if I'm writing on the computer. That's why when I send a message from the computer, it's taking me much longer than from my phone. And I prefer to do everything that I've been writing on my phone. But as my physical therapist said to me, it's important for me not to use a voice recorder because if I still use my hands, I will be able to use them longer. If I stop now, I wouldn't be able to use them later. Yeah, here it's another aspect of me. I wanted to share it because when you say disability, you think only about inspiration and sometimes pity. That's the fact. Why I wanted to do something else. I wanted to be different, and I've always dreamed of becoming an actor. It wasn't possible though in real life, but I did a course on it with a trainer who was open to help me do it, and he challenged me to be Richard III. It was a really big challenge for me to see to to see that to get to like the worst in me, to be bad from my bones, from everything I have. And yes, I saw that it is everything. It is possible. I can be good and bad. We all can. And disability stops us only if we let it. Mm. My life changed, to be honest, last year. Around this time of the year, when I was at the EAMDA's conference in Bucharest. I knew about the treatment. I've heard of it before from another SMA patient from Romania. This girl told me that, I think we have the same disease. Because as I told you, I stopped considering my disease. After they told me that's it, and I forgot to mention that some doctors told my mom, I mean the family doctor, told my mom that I was going to die at 4 years old. And that's why she didn't want to pursue finding about my disease more. She said that if I was going to die, she wanted me to be alright, to be like I am, not to know anything else. For her, it didn't matter. She wanted me to be here, there with her and with my family. So last year, something changed. Arabella sent me a message on Facebook to invite me to the conference. And I saw it, I can remember even now, at 2 in the morning. It was on Monday, and on Friday I had to be there. I wasn't sure that I had to do that because there are 600 kilometers from Oradea to Bucharest. But a friend of mine also went. He wasn't sure that he will go. And I said something like, yeah, if I have to be there, I will. It doesn't matter what I do. If I should be there, I will. So I got there and it completely changed my life because I saw some presentations on SMA, and I was really inspired. And also, I could see the similarities between those cases and mine. I said, "Oh my God, I can't do that either. I did that," and so on. And the symptoms were pretty much the same. So after that, I went to Timisoara, which is an SMA center. It's 2 hours from me. I went there, I did a genetic test, and in a month, not more than that, I started taking the oral treatment, Risipram. It was a huge challenge for me to do that and to enter into this world. I started a few years ago some physical therapy, but only to maintain my capacities, only to still be active to work, but not more than that. After the conference, I was inspired to find out more, to become a part of this world, because I met some amazing people there. Seda was between them, and uh, she is an advocate for SMA patients. I wanted to learn more to become myself a part of this world. So I started searching for information and for therapies and for everything was available out there. Here you can see me without my corset. Now I can stay without it up to 2 hours in my wheelchair or even without it. I wasn't able to do that before the treatment. And here I am in hydrokinetic therapy. I started that too. I do Yumeho, another therapy, and physical therapy. I do a lot of therapies, but everything together with the treatment is helping me achieve milestones that even when I was a child, um, I couldn't. As you saw me in the first pictures, I couldn't stay without a pillow um, behind me. Here you can see me without it and I'm free and I can stay up to 2 hours nowadays. So yeah, here this is a really short video. It's not working. I'm sorry, but you can see me last week as I stay without the corset or the orthosis. It's just me with my wheelchair, and I can use my hands better. I'm pretty confident that I will be able to eat alone soon because my condition has improved considerably, and I can swallow better. I can breathe. I'm pretty much okay. And yeah, I started my work on advocacy a little bit, but mostly on empowerment. I want to empower people with abilities, this is Romania, but I hope around the world, to be themselves, to let them be seen, and to be a part of the society. Here it was a statement picture for me because I've always tended to hide my corset because it was a shame to be seen. People stared at it, and I wouldn't want it. So my mom always was pretty aware of it, how we were my clothes, were on me and everything. But here I decided to stop being afraid to be myself, to show the world how I really am and who I really am. So yeah, this is why I put it behind me. I stayed without it on the grass. It was the first time I was able to stay on grass, and yeah, for me it was empowering, and I hope to help others see their potential because everyone is special, and you can find me online. You can send me your story. We can talk. I would be pretty interested to find out about your stories. And you can follow me on Instagram because there I post in English, only there. But I'm really open to talk with you and to find out more about your stories and how we can collaborate. Because, not to forget, I started to be a part of the communication working group on SMA Europe. And also, this is a project or an association pretty close to my heart. The association SMA Family, Familia SMA, SMA from Romania, in which I'm dealing with communication as I am a marketing specialist. And yeah, I hope that the future will be great. I'm sorry about my uh yeah. And here I'm with my mom because I wanted to keep it for the final moment to tell you about the most important person in my life, who is my caregiver, my friend, my number one fan, if you want. But she is always there and she helps me achieve everything in my life. I think that for every person with SMA out there, it's important to have a support system and to have someone who believes in them. Thank you. And I hope that it was clear.
Yes, thank you so much, Dana. Actually, you're such an inspiration to us. And I really just want to say that you are a true role model of ambition, courage, and resilience when it comes to disability and SMA. And you are a living proof that what we do in EAMDA really matters and it can be life-changing. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It is really inspirational, and you are an amazing person, by the way, inspiring all of us. I I do agree with you in so many ways. People with disabilities are limited only if they want to be limited. We have so many capacities. We are with disabilities, but we can do so many things. And sometimes we even have qualities that maybe even people without disabilities don't have when it comes to empathy and so many other things. So it was really an amazing story. And just wanted to mention that Dana is actually also going to be our volunteer in EAMDA. We are trying to include her in our community as she's so precious with all her experience and her capacity and also an amazing model. So thank you very much, Dana. And I just wonder if there are any comments or questions. I've seen a lot in the chat. Let's see if we can follow them. I see you have a comment from Timea who says, try remote mouse. You can control the computer with your phone and type much faster. Well, keep in touch with Timea. Maybe she can give some tips.
Yes, thank you.
and leave you. Abrudan says, hello, Dana. Can I ask you if you feel that you are a part of the Romanian SMA community? You are such an inspiration. What is the communication of the SMA, Romanian SMA community with you? Oh, you already mentioned that you are already working with Familia SMA.
Yes. To be honest, until Gabriela wrote me a message, I didn't really know about SMA in Romania. I didn't see much activity. I am a member on a Facebook group, but that's mostly it from what I've seen. But at least outside of some organizations. Because after Gabriela added me to Familia SMA, I've seen many people with SMA and great stories, and they inspire me every day to be better.
Yeah, in the end, it's not a competition. You can be member of Familia SMA, other SMA organizations in Romania, SMA Europe, EAMDA, and so on. At least as you are able to involved in all this. So and it's so good to be active in the community because you see, it's also a way to inspire others and to help them grow as you did. Yeah, Sharifa says, or absolutely loved your story, Lana. Thank you for sharing it with us. Ipek said, great presentation, Dana. Deeply moving. Thank you so much, Gabriela Radu wrote. So nice. Thank you. You have a lot of good thoughts here shared with you. Is there anyone who wants to address a question to Dana or maybe a comment? Feel free to raise your hand or open your camera, your microphone, and just jump into the discussion. Meanwhile, I would ask you, Dana, one question because I'm also Romanian. What do you think is the biggest challenge in Romania for people with disabilities? Like I can say, like you and me with different physical disabilities, especially and mobility issues. To kind of grow like we did and be more involved in the society. What do you think is the biggest challenge and the biggest hinder that doesn't allow us to get involved and to come out of our homes and our small maybe friends groups and create something more into the society?
Accessibility. It's hard to go out there because we don't have ramps. Even new streets, they have like a big stair you should climb with a wheelchair, which is not really helping us be in the society, be part of it.
You actually have an amazing point there because it is true. As you already may know, EAMDA hosted a workshop in Ljubljana recently. Ljubljana, Slovenia is, let's say, where EAMDA is registered, the home of EAMDA. And I was again impressed. I think it was my third time in Ljubljana. And again, I was impressed by this accessibility on the streets. Everything is accessible there. And Ljubljana, Slovenia is a small country, but the way they manage to create access for people with mobility issues is just amazing. So we can definitely take Slovenia as an example. And I really hope that one day Romania will become more accessible because indeed it is a true challenge that we are facing every day.
I hope to.
Yeah. Okay. If there are no more questions, then and because we kind of finished our time, I would like to thank you everyone for joining us today for this enriching webinar, SMA webinar, Bridging Knowledge, Advocacy, and Personal Journeys. We hope each session has not only provided valuable information, but also fostered a greater sense of connection within our community. First, a big thank you to our speakers, Associate Professor Raluca Ioana Teleanu, MD, PhD, Simona Joveska from SMA Europe, and Dana Mierlutz, SMA Type 2 patient. And a big thank you to all participants here today. This event is a reminder of the importance of working together across fields like medicine, advocacy, and patient experience to improve the quality of life for those with SMA. Whether you're a medical professional, an advocate, a family member, or living with SMA yourself, we all play an important role in this community. Let's keep this momentum going beyond today. This is a challenge. Stay connected, share what you've learned, and continue supporting one another as we bridge knowledge, advocacy, and personal stories. Thank you once again, and don't forget to stay close to EAMDA community and activities, and follow us on our social media channels and keep up with our activities. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. It was a pleasure having you tonight. Thank you.